Welcome to The Explainer. So, you're a parent, probably in your 40s or 50s, and you're right in the middle of your peak earning years. But are you making the absolute most of it? Today, we are breaking down 10 really smart financial moves for Aussie parents. We're taking expert advice and turning it into a clear, simple game plan to help you lock down your family's future. Right, let's just start with a really big question. Are these years for just surviving? Juggling the mortgage, the school fees, the endless bills? Or could this be the decade you actually start thriving financially and building some serious wealth? This whole explainer is designed to take that overwhelming list of things you feel you should be doing and turn it into a straightforward strategy that puts you firmly on the path to thriving. We're going to break this down into a simple three-part plan. First up, we'll talk about your financial foundation, basically securing what you have right now. Then we'll jump into strategies for growth, which is all about making your money work for you. And finally, we'll cover securing your legacy to make sure everything you've built is protected for the long run. Okay, let's get into it. Part one. Look, before you can build a skyscraper, you need a rock-solid foundation, right? Well, finance is exactly the same. These first few moves are all about creating that security and stability for your family so you can build your wealth on a base that just won't crumble. So the first move, and honestly, it's arguably the most important one, is to protect your single greatest asset. And I'm not talking about your house. It's your ability to bring home an income. Income protection insurance is that safety net just in case you can't work. And here's the kicker that makes it such a smart move. The premiums are generally tax deductible. Now, not all income protection is created equal. You really have to look beyond the generic one-size-fits-all policies. For example, if you're a professional, you can find a specialized cover that's actually tailored to your specific job. Some even come with things like profit sharing. It really pays to find a policy that gets your world. All right, next up for a strong foundation, let's maximize your cash flow right now. Are you absolutely sure you're claiming every government benefit you're entitled to? For a ton of families, the child care subsidy is a huge one. That 90% you see here, that's the max rebate eligible families can get. If you add in the family tax benefit, leaving that money on the table is basically like turning down a pay rise. And the final piece of our foundation puzzle is having a smart strategy for any HEECs or help debt. Now, there have been some pretty big changes here recently. The government gave a one-off credit, which was great, but your remaining debt is still subject to annual indexation, which is tied to inflation. So if your income is above that repayment threshold, making some voluntary payments before indexation kicks in could save you a bundle in the long run. And hey, a smaller student debt looks a whole lot better to a bank when you're looking for an investment loan. All right, on to our second act, strategies for growth. Now that we have that foundation nice and secure, it is time to go on the offensive. This section is all about those proactive moves that get your money working just as hard for you as you do for it. So a core concept here is just keeping things simple through automation. The bucket strategy is brilliant for this. You just set up 3 clear buckets for your cash. Bucket 1 is for the essentials, the mortgage, the bills, the non-negotiables. Bucket 2 is for lifestyle spending and fun. And bucket 3, that's your wealth-building engine. You set up automatic transfers into this bucket, which then automatically invests into things like ETFs. You literally set it, forget it, and just let it grow. Now let's talk about making your mortgage work for you in 2 really powerful ways. First, you have the offset account. Think of this as a defensive move. The cash you have sitting in this account reduces your loan balance, so you pay less interest. Simple. But then you have debt recycling, and this is a seriously powerful offensive move. This strategy helps you turn your bad, non-deductible home loan debt into good, tax-deductible investment debt. So one saves you money, the other actively helps you build new assets. So how do you save for those massive future costs? I'm talking a kid's education, a house deposit, without it completely messing up your own tax situation. Well, investment bonds are a really compelling answer. And the headline feature says it all. After 10 years, any money you pull out is 100% tax-free. The magic behind that tax-free withdrawal is how the bond itself is taxed. See, all the earnings are taxed inside the bond at a rate of up to 30%.
What that means for you is you have no extra income to declare on your personal tax return, and there's no risk of getting pushed into a higher tax bracket. It's like a self-contained little investment vehicle that just grows quietly in the background. It's a really clean and powerful tool.
Okay, we've built the foundation, we've got our growth strategies working. Now for our final act, which is all about the long-term picture, securing your legacy. This is about making absolutely sure that the wealth you've worked so hard for is protected and passed on exactly the way you want it to be.
You know, when we say estate plan, most people's minds jump straight to a will. But a will is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. A proper, complete plan also includes things like powers of attorney, who will be your kid's guardian, and, this is a big one, nominations for your superannuation, because super doesn't automatically form part of your will. It can also include more complex things like testamentary trusts to protect an inheritance for your children.
Now, here is a really clever strategy that a lot of couples just overlook: super splitting. So in this example, you can see one spouse has a much bigger super balance. Maybe the other partner took time off work to raise kids. By splitting contributions, you can start to even out those balances. This is smart for two reasons. It lowers the risk of one of you hitting that new $3 million super tax threshold, and it can actually improve your joint eligibility for the age pension down the track. It's a simple move to maximize your total family retirement nest egg.
And for those of you with a growing investment portfolio or a family business, a family trust can be an incredibly powerful structure. Think of it as a legal fortress that holds assets on behalf of your family. It gives you two huge advantages. First, amazing asset protection. And second, it lets you distribute investment income in a really tax-effective way, say to your adult kids who are on lower tax brackets. It is a more advanced strategy for sure, but it's a critical one for planning multi-generational wealth.
We have covered a lot of ground: defensive moves, growth strategies, and legacy planning. So how does this all actually fit together into one single, cohesive game plan? Well, let's put all 10 moves on one page and see the whole picture. And here it is, all 10 moves together, your family wealth checklist. You can see the foundational stuff like income protection, the growth plays like investment bonds and debt recycling, and the legacy planning with your estate plan and family trust. But the most important part of this is that column on the right: why it matters. Every single action is tied to a real, tangible outcome for your family. Think of this as your menu of options. You don't have to do it all at once, because at the end of the day, your family's financial future isn't going to build itself. Knowing this stuff is great, but it's taking action that actually creates results. So the most important takeaway is to just start. Looking at that list again, just ask yourself, what is the one move, the single next step that you can take this week to start moving your family from just surviving to truly thriving? Because that's what really counts.